Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. It's a real honor to be able to sit on this panel with my dear soul family and my hearts in this way, and to have all of you here. So thank you for your support. And I'm just going to start. I'm going to just sit and then do a little toning to start us off, and then I'm going to just jump in and start to share a couple of ideas I have around this topic. Who decides what is spiritual? So I invite you to just sit and connect if that feels comfortable, with your eyes open or closed. I invite you to really tune in to see what feels like a good match for where you're at and what you're needing. And just breathing a few times together, dropping in together to this container, to this session, and this opportunity. Thank you. Just clearing the channel. Okay, so I think the first thing I wanted to bring up around this question is just to name the foundation of where I'm coming from, which is the ontological reality of the non-physical realm, and that these are actually multiple realms that exist and interact with the physical realm. And so coming from that perspective, there's a couple of other topics I want to mention, but I want to start there. And the term subtle ecologies is a term that I use in my new book to talk about sort of the studies and the experiences of these non-physical realms. And many people who have experienced extreme states, non-ordinary states, spiritual emergence, or any type of spiritually transformative experiences may have also come into contact with different types of beings in that realm, or energies. And so I'm just going to read a little something from my new book on ecology of the subtle. So this is thinking about sacred containers connecting to the unmanifest realms or metaphysical realms of nature spirits, guides, and helpers, angels, intergalactic and interdimensional beings. These ecologies are interconnected webs of information, energy, and response on all levels, both manifest as well as non-physical. Just as biologists study the nuances of the physical ecology, such as the flow of nutrients through the species in a food web, or the flow of water through a water cycle, the subtle ecologies include communities of entities with needs and agendas, hidden or overt, beneficent, neutral, or harmful, and their impact upon the physical realm. Subtle ecologies also include thoughts, feelings, energies, beliefs, and paradigms, our own and others, that influence moment-to-moment experiences and the wellness or dis-ease of our whole being, which is both physical and metaphysical in nature. It is necessary to fully appreciate and honor these complex interrelationships in order to have a truly holistic perspective. So that's sort of the foundation that I work with my clients in all of the modalities, but also what I'm bringing to the session today is that is real, really real, and that there are certain ways that the allopathic system, which we could go into the history, we don't have time today, of rational materialism and its impact on the soul and the evolution of consciousness, but we're actually reclaiming the metaphysical as a part of the manifest. And I believe that the intention of the work of what we're bringing through at this time is actually to re-imbue the material with the spiritual. As Sri Aurobindo would say, involution of spirit into matter. And so the impact of what I call medical gaslighting on the psychic phenomena that I was experiencing, being called not real, being called hallucinatory and delusional, and also, of course, being medicated against my will, then having all of those channels of intuition shut off. That was really a devastating blow, and it's taken me many years. Many of you have been on this journey with me, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, to be able to be on the other side of it and to speak from this place of knowing my own truth and the truth of those that also share this seeing and feeling in this way with me. So I'm speaking for them as well, as we always do when we're advocating. So gaslighting, this is the Gaslighting Recovery Workbook, which is fantastic. I don't know, it's very straightforward. I love it. So what is gaslighting? Some of us may remember the salon where we watched that film, and so I think that's in my mind too, as well. Gaslighting is a form of psychological and emotional abuse that causes victims to question their reality, judgment, self-perception, and extreme circumstances, their sanity. Gaslighters distort the truth to manipulate, confuse, and control their victims. Gaslighting has taken on a broader definition in modern parlance. We now use the term to describe the tactic of manipulating victims into doubting their reality, memory, or perception. Changing the physical environment is not required, like we saw in Gaslight. Victims can be gaslit by questioning, mocking, or denying their reported experience until they lose confidence in their own senses. So just naming that there's another alternative. I'm not here just to other the ones that othered me. I'm not going to play that game. That's not the narrative I'm trying to participate in. What I'm trying to be here to say is that there's another way to hold it, which is what I'm calling radical humanism, which is I believe that Laing would embody, which is a form of authenticity, right? With being with all of these experiences, no matter how outliers, like we all may feel at times, that we're all welcome and that we're all honored for our experience as purveyors of important information and gifts in this time. And then to kind of speak to the vocation of working in these realms, some would call that shamanism, some would call it psychic work, intuition, working in these realms and working with entities. So if we remember when, I think it was 2 years ago, right, when we got the Francis Huxley article on shamanism, healing, and R.D. Laing. Thinking about shamanism as working not only with different beings and lost soul aspects that need to be recovered, but working on behalf of finding the elements in the non-physical realm and then that supporting the physical realm. So thinking of it in terms, sort of broadly, in terms of working in these non-physical realms. And what Francis speaks of, Francis Huxley, he says, he describes that Laing has this quality as well of shamanism, this gift of discernment of spirits, an instant recognition of what afflicts a client, together with the ability to get to the heart of the matter. And there's an arduous task to perfect this gift, and those of us who have been through initiatory processes are also aware of this. The quality of being brought to our very edges, and being torn apart, right, dismembered, right, and then brought back together at another octave. This feeling of the call, the shamanic call, and the initiatory process as being one that we are brought to, whether it's shamanic illness, through some sort of emergency, or however it is that these gifts begin to awaken themselves, and then it's about learning how to manage them and work with them, which Huxley says is an arduous task to perfect this gift, where the sense of oneself is permeated by the sense of others, often to one's confusion, so that even the sense of what the structure of the ego or the separate self is lost in this communion with these realms, with these beings, with these energies. And we can see that when we watch Laing sitting with his clients. For shamanism is a vocation, Huxley says, the utmost of vocations, in that its practitioners are called to it, much as they might wish to avoid that laborious, painful, and alienating destiny. How should it not be? When they first hear its voice in a nightmare, into which they again fall should they cease to shamanize, as happened to the scapegoat, or if you prefer, the wounded healer. Thank you.